Greetings, geniuses. This video is going to cover another topic from the INFJ perspective as usual, and we're going to talk about the awakening process and what exactly that means. What in the world am I talking about? If you don't know already from that key word of awakening. And I want to give you a little bit about my personal story because it's a different process for everybody. And so I don't know what yours is. I don't know if you're at the beginning of that journey or if yours started way earlier than mine. But we're all going through the process at different times and in different ways, depending on a whole host of variables with our lives, whether it be the personal or career or school or family or whatever organization that has had some impact on waking us up to the truth of just what's been going on in our world. And I think the craziest part of it for me over and over has been just the realization that we've kind of been lied to about things our entire lives. And so I've realized that in different ways, in different stages, even after I knew that was the case. But when you look back at when you were younger or when you went through different things as a child, whatever that may be, just knowing that not everything was as it seemed and sort of the matrix reality that we're all a part of, and in just how society has molded us to be the people that we are, and some of it not always for our good or our best interests. And so again, it's a process that we've all gone through, and it's been different for everybody. So I'll give you a quick overview of how it went for me and how it's been going. And I would say for me, it probably started around 2015, 2016, when I realized that politically we were being told a lot of things from politicians and the quote unquote progress of our country, and I was witnessing the opposite happen. So whether that be with promises that were made and then seeing the opposite unfold, of course, that isn't a new concept as far as lying politicians and that kind of thing. But for me, that was kind of around the year, somewhere around 2015, 2016, that it was really becoming more and more obvious. And that's because there were more people that were speaking out and calling it fake. The things that were being broadcast basically to the world. And as always, when I talk about a topic such as this, I have to be mindful of the things and how they're said, and making sure I'm not touching on certain things that could affect this account, for example, because I don't want that to happen. But that's around the time period it started for me, and it's just been a slow, steady stream, obviously, of more that has been disclosed to the public in different ways, and things that have been proven to be true. And so, has your awakening process been long and drawn out? Did you have a certain instance where you were just sort of jolted out of your sleep? And then what do we do with it once we've started that process? Well, I'm really happy the direction that things are going. And even though it seems like the world has gotten more and more chaotic, I take a lot of comfort in the fact that more and more people are awakened to what's happening and sort of what's been exposed. And you can't go back to sleep once you've seen, heard, and realized so much of these things. There's no going back to sleep. And just knowing that the world that we lived in, there was a whole lot of fake going on. And even as far as, sort of, I don't want to say that it's a lie that you can go to, say, a college and then have your dream career or whatnot. For some people, it works, but there's also the fact that you could just be very self-motivated and have certain dreams and plans, and you can make those come true without going to some prestigious school or something. And it really comes down to the individual and what goals you have. And we don't need to be plugged in to some man-made system all the time in how we do things. There's ways to go outside the box, and we shouldn't feel like we have to be plugged into whatever system. Oftentimes can cost us a lot of money, and is it really worth it? And so that's been one of my pet peeves. Just, I guess, when I hear about sort of the mindset where people think they have to, do this and do that and get this degree and then go to that job. Well, maybe if that's what your preferred path is and you want to make a difference in that style, then yes, by all means. But say, for example, if you wanted to be an artist or a teacher of some kind, well, there's a whole bunch of great teachers and artists that either dropped out of high school. I'm not saying to drop out of high school if you're in high school, but or maybe they made it through high school, but then they just stopped there as far as the formal schooling goes. And they continued to be an amazing success because they just had a passion to learn on their own, to find mentors that they could learn from, and so on and so on. So I don't know if that's the best of all the examples I could give to focus on education, but we are talking about info, and so I thought those two kind of connected to talk about the awakening process. But of course, the internet has changed so much too, because if you really want to learn about a topic such as self-development, that's one of the things that we talk about a lot here, then you can find all the info that you need. And yes, maybe it's a little bit scattered on the internet because there's so many videos and people covering it. But the point is that the best teachers that you can find are going to be your best mentors as well, essentially, at least once you find those people. And those are the ones that you're going to learn the most from, the ones that you connect with, that are like-minded, that maybe have the same goals or had the same goals when they were just getting started like you. And I've had formal and informal schooling and trainings over the years, and I can tell you from firsthand experience that it was those like-minded ones with similar work ethic and belief systems or whatnot that I learned so much from. And I've had some extremely talented teachers who were just horrible, and they had just a totally bad, wrong mindset. And so I learned what not to do from them, but what I had hoped to learn from those bad teachers, I learned nothing. So, and I'm talking about formal training schools or those kinds of teachers. So it just proved to me throughout that process that I didn't plan it that way, obviously, to have bad teachers. But through that process of finding good ones and bad ones, that they came from all different places, and whether online or in person, whatever. And so, really, one of the most important things is to obviously know what direction you want to go in life and in your career, but then finding those right mentors, those right people to teach you the things that you want to know. So, don't put all of your hopes and dreams into some school, some building, some small group of teachers, whatever it may be, because you need to invest in yourself. And nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody is going to hand you your dream job. You could have 5 different degrees, but if none of them align enough with your passion and what you want to do, then you're not going to get there. And that's just the reality, cold truth of it. But that is an awakening process as well for you personally, for where you want to go. But maybe I didn't touch too much on my whole awakening process, but I would just say that it's ongoing, and I've learned so much about myself too through that process. And just another example how I never used to focus on like natural foods and organic or anything like that. But as I researched more and more and awakened more and more, it has led me to research on certain topics more. And so I eat a lot healthier than I used to. I focus on my health a lot more than I used to because I saw the kinds of things that were in foods, for example, or in the toiletries that I buy. And it's really affected how I live in a good way because I'm just so much more mindful about how I think, what I use on my body, what I focus on, and I don't get depressed by what I watch on TV or whatever because, well, for one, I don't hardly watch TV anymore, period. I mean, as far as like cable or news goes, that kind of stuff, it's pretty much zero. And so I just watch the occasional movie, but even that, I am more mindful about what I watch because, you know, if you watch some really depressing horror movie, for example, that's going to get into your spirit and your mindset. And so it's very rare that I would ever watch those anymore. And I'm not saying it's bad if you do once in a while, but if you're ingesting that stuff into your brain and into your spirit on a regular basis, you can't think that it's not going to affect you because it's basically just demonic. If we're talking about horror movies, like really crazy ones, then the actors too. I mean, they have to get into a very sick mindset to be able to portray that well. And they're basically bringing it back to life or fictionally bringing it to life. And then you're sort of breathing that in as you watch it. And you just can't assume it's not going to affect you, like I said. And obviously the awakening process, like I said, it's different for everybody. And it's impossible to cover even all of my own experience in a short amount of time. But hopefully I gave you a couple things to kind of relay to you how much it's changed my life for the better. And it's ongoing. Even now, as I record this, I don't feel like I've arrived, but I feel like I've come so far in the last 7 to 10 years. And it makes me excited about the future. And so I would encourage all of you to just, wherever you're at in this journey of awakening, to just keep moving forward and keep finding ways that you can sort of transform yourself to the truth of this life and this world, because it really opens you up to new possibilities and choices and freedom. There's a key word right there: freedom. It opens you up to living more free than you ever have before, because we didn't know we were trapped in the first place. And again, that's kind of, for me, one of the craziest things about it is just thinking that we lived since we were a baby and we didn't even realize that we were kind of trapped into some societal matrix that we didn't even know existed. And it's kind of creepy. It's the real matrix, but so much more complex and diverse than the movie, for example, as far as we're living it. And so you can't pack it into a 2-hour flick. And so just keep growing and keep moving with it, because I can just tell you from my own experience, if you're at the beginning of the process, that it only seems to get better and better. Even if the world gets crazier, my own experience is just getting so much better, because I'm feeling better about myself. I'm finding and implementing solutions, because I'm realizing what the real enemy of my life was in many ways. And so just keep fighting, keep pushing forward. And I hope this was informative for you in some way, or you got a better perspective about how you can keep growing with these times that we're living in, because there's always hope in the future, and I believe God is in control of all of it. And I only know that from hindsight in my own life, but hopefully you have enough hindsight about the things that have happened with you too, that you can look forward to what's to come. So I'll look forward to bringing another topic and video soon. And so until next time, I'll see you soon, genius.